Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to cloud test lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Hi, welcome all to the H2K Infosys mobile application testing classes. In today's class, we are going to see about what is mobile testing is all about, why it is required, terminologies used in telecom industry, and knowing about the different mobile operating system or the platform. Okay, so it's a basic question. So why this mobile application testing is a very competitive thing, and it created an urge among today's market because all industries, all the service provider, everybody are trying to attract so many customers, and all the customers are in an urge in collecting the information where this mobile device has played a vital role. Now, if you take a mobile device, this particular mobile, even you can see your mobile handset. So this device has replaced so many things: an MP3 player, a camera, a video recorder, and etc. So many things. These things have been replaced by one single device called a mobile handset. And this mobile handset is capable of replacing all these things, and later it has been discovered that it is also capable of replacing a PC, where it can store so many applications where a customer can access those applications for their individual needs. Now, what is the application? Application, whenever you call it as an application, it is a two-way transaction. You give a request, a system responds to your request. This two-way, whatever is processed on this two-way, that is what is called an application. Whatever thing you do it on your PC, you take your shopping, you take your insurance, you can take any kind of things. All the shopping websites are also having their own applications exclusive for mobile. Why? Because they need to attract all customers from at all their levels. Customers at urge can access information from all these clients or from all these stores on their movement. So that is what is the purpose why mobile application has been urged at a higher scale. And this application, whatever it is called an application, is whenever there is a two-way transaction, that is called an application. All right. Now, when we talk about testing, and especially about mobile testing, we have two concepts called mobile device testing and mobile application testing. These two things have to be made clear before you move into the other future topics. What is a mobile device testing? Mobile device testing is a mobile handset testing. What is a mobile handset testing? You have various mobile handset like your Samsung, your Nokia, your BlackBerry. So various devices are there, and those various devices has their own hardware features. So what are all the hardware features of this mobile device will be? So it has various processors, RAM, internal memory, and also it has a various operating system. Probably if you take a mobile device, it has so many things to be tested. How the processor speed will be, how much of time it takes for a charging, and how much of time it can hold a charge, how fast it can load an application, how fast it can process an individual request. If a customer is able to make a call, if a customer is able to end a call, is this mobile is working on all the service area, that is a network area. When the network is switched off, is the mobile device is able to provide an error message. So all these kind of testing related to a mobile device is called a mobile device testing. You test the hardware part of the mobile and the basic features of the mobile is called a mobile device testing. Then what is a mobile application testing? There are applications which is generated only for mobile devices. So those applications, if you take a Facebook, Facebook can be accessed from your PC. The same Facebook can be accessed from your smartphones. Not only from the smartphones, it is available for all the kind of phones these days. So this is called an application. This is called a mobile application. If you take this Facebook is the basic functionality of this Facebook is just a social networking. A customer, a user should be able to log in. They should be able to communicate with their friends, should be able to post a status, able to search a friend, post some messages, receive notifications. So this is the main purpose of a Facebook application. When this application is being served through a mobile device, all these functionalities also should be satisfied. All these functionalities has to be satisfied. Whatever you do on your PC, the same thing you should be able to do it on your mobile device. And also it should be user friendly. The UI should be very good and it should be compatible on all the mobile devices. So all these testing you do related to a mobile application, that is what is called a mobile application testing. So I'll just give you a quick review of what is mobile device testing. Mobile device testing is a testing what you do on a handset device, on a hardware part of a mobile device, whether it can charge in a particular time, how much of charge it can hold for a time. You're able to make a call, you are unable to make a call in a unnetwork area. So these kind of things you check if a mobile is working or not. That is what is called a mobile device testing. What is called a mobile application testing? Applications generated for mobile health devices. So when you test those applications achieves the functionalities what is aspired, that is what is called a mobile application testing. So an application is something called a two-way transaction. Now you all came to know what is a mobile device testing and what is mobile app testing. Before you learn a more deeper about mobile application testing, it's very important to know a concepts of normal software testing. What is an SDLC model? What is a test case? What is a test plan? So what is a defect? So what is a test case? Test case it's a step-by-step procedure to verify a requirement. A test plan it's a complete document. It's a complete testing document which will talk about when, where, how, what type, who, which tool, etc. When to start, when to stop. So when a document is going to contain all these information, that is complete testing document, that is what is called a test plan document. And what is a test scenario? So a beginner tester, and also it is always necessary to identify the test scenarios before you write a test case. So what is this test scenario is called? Whenever you take an application, though it is a web-based application or whatever kind of application it can be, before you start writing your test cases, you will be going through your BRD. What is the BRD? It is a business requirement document. What is a business requirement document? It is the requirement specification from your client. If your client is going to have some ideas about how his application should be, it is all documented on a document called BRD. So a tester normally goes through a BRD and he will identify what is the functionality of this application. After he understands the functionality of the application, he will identify the scenarios. What is a scenario? On what condition this application will work, on what condition this application should not work. So what are all the possible ways of testing you can do? So this is all called as a scenario. So if you take a login application, if you take just a Gmail application, my scenarios for a Gmail application should be: I will check for a valid login, I will check for an invalid login, I will check with a blank password, I will check with a blank user ID. Once I log in into it, I should be able to browse on all the labels. I should be able to sign out properly. So when I list out these many things, this is all called as a scenarios before I test an application. So based upon these scenarios, I will draft my test cases. So a tester at their beginning level, it's always a healthier way to identify the scenarios for any application they're going to test, and they're going to test it. So test scenarios is something, the scenarios you're going to identify for which you're going to draft a test case. Then what is a defect? Defect is something nothing but when a functionality is going to deviate from the requirement. While doing an actual operation, if the actual operation is going to deviate from the aspired requirement, and customer or your client expects that an error message should be displayed, but an error message is not displayed. Instead, the system goes blank without popping any error message. That is called a defect. A requirement says there should be error message, but an actual, what happened? No error message was displayed. It is deviating from the requirement. This is what is called a defect. So there are basic things which you need to learn before you get into a mobile application testing, about software testing. So, and about SDLC models, there are various models in developing a software. Various models are waterfall, V model, agile, iteration, spiral. There are various models available in the market, and various types of testing also there: functional testing, monkey testing, smoke testing, sanity, regression, retesting. There are various types of testing which will contribute a quality application. On performing all this testing only, a quality application will be delivered. So this is what is all the basic concept you need to know about a software testing. Now, when you talk about a mobile, you should know something about telecommunication. What is the telecommunication? Telecommunication is something that how your mobile device is able to process a signal. What is a signal? Signal is nothing but it can be a voice, it can be a light. So through which an information is being carried, that is what is called a signal. So you need to know about, before we get into the mobile application testing, you need to know few concepts about this telecommunication. So telecommunication, communication at a distance through a signals of varied nature coming from a transmitter to a receiver. There is a transmitter, there is a receiver. when a signal is being transmitted between a transmitter and a receiver, that is what is called a communication. Now, if you take a telecommunication or a mobile communication, there are various terms which you need to know. A term called GSM, CDMA, and 2G, 3G, Edge, that is 2.5G, and a long-term evaluation. The future things which is going to come after 3G, they generally named it as long-term evaluation. So that is what is called, whatever it is going to come in future, it is all a generic thing called long-term evaluation. Now, what is a GSM technology? What is a CDMA technology? Now, first, initially when a mobile device was originated, it was originated with a CDMA technology. What is a CDMA technology? It's a code division, multiple access. Code division multiple access technology was initially followed for a mobile communication or a wireless communication. This is how. Okay, let us take a very rough figure. There is a transmitter, there is a receiver. So signals will be transmitted between a transmitter and a receiver. While a code division multiple access, what this technology is going to be worked is, when a device is going to follow this technology, when it is enabled with CDMA technology, that means it is restricted to receive signals from a particular transmitter or a receiver only. It can similarly transmit signals only to a particular transmitter or only to a particular receiver. This is what is called a code division multiple access. So you take earlier, earlier there was a mobile called Reliance in India. So this Reliance mobile, when it was a CDMA mobile when it was introduced into the market. So how this devices was working? The device, the mobile device, was enabled only with the code division multiple access technology. That device will be capable of receiving only a Reliance signal. Other than any carrier, it cannot receive any signal. Only Reliance will be its only carrier, only service provider. So it can receive signals only from that carrier. It can transmit signals only to that particular carrier. So this was a code division multiple access. Since it was very restricted, later it generated something called GSM, which is called Global System for Mobile. Global System for Mobile later emerged. How this Global System for Mobile is going to work? So in CDMA, they allocate a particular space for each and every user. So each and every user will be allocated to only to that particular space. They can use only that particular space. That means that only particular carrier. So all transmission and reception can happen only to that particular space alone. When it comes to a GSM technology, there was something called an antenna or something called a base station. This is what is called a mobile station, and this is what is called a base station subsystem, where it has base transceiver and it has a base station controller. And there is something called mobile service switching center. So via this, a user is going to call via this mobile service switching center, will switch from one user to another user, where it can connect the signal from one user to another signal, through which a voice transmission will happen in a mobile device. There is similarly something called visitor location register, which is used only for, there is something called home location register. This home location register, what you can see here, this is called a local registry. It will have the information of the particular user residing in that particular state or in that particular area. All the information of that customer, that means the information is the mobile number, the carrier, all these information will be in this local registry. this user is going to switch over from one area to another area, obviously his call will be moved to a visitor location register. Visitor location register will be using a temporary registry where it can store information about the new customer or a new user entering into their zone. So this is what is a GSM technology. Let us not get very technical about into it. So there is a mobile station, there is a base station subsystem, mobile service switching center which will connect from one user to another user. There is a home location register which will store local data. There is a visitor location register which will be enabling a STD facility. So this is all about a GSM technology. So how a GSM technology will be enabled on a mobile device? Then it emerged something called SIM, which is subscriber identity module. Subscriber identity module, which can be inserted into any mobile device which is enabled with GSM technology. So a GSM technology can adopt a mobile device to any kind of carrier. That is carrier in the sense the carrier network. It can be your AT&T or it can be your T-Mobile, any kind of network it can adopt it to. So GSM technology with the help of the subscriber identity module may help in the communication process. This is what is called a GSM, SIM and CDMA technology. And something called 2G. Whenever it is G, they mean it is a generation. So when it is 2G, 2G was enabled with a voice call. A voice was transmitted over a wireless, and later it was 2.5G, where a data or what do you call something called an SMS, short messaging service. A text can be transmitted through a wireless network that was enabled through 2.5G. So 2G was with a voice call and 2.5G with an SMS service, and later enabled 3G with a data service. What is a data service? Your internet on your mobile. So that was enabled with 3G, and with the so with 3G even your video calls, okay, even in 2G and after in this 2.5G itself your data was also enabled. So the data that is called internet was enabled through a technology called GPRS. What is a GPRS? General Packet Radio Service. So through this GPRS, your mobile will be enabled with internet services. So you will be able to use all your internet services through this GPRS. So later they generated something called 3G with a higher speed of internet, and a video calling was also possible over wireless. So that was achieved through 3G. And next it was 4G with a higher speed of internet. And whatever the future generation is going to come, they are going to name it as H. The future services are put onto one bucket called H. So this is what is a basic things about a mobile telecommunication. So you need to know these kind of terms before you get into a mobile application testing classes. Now, you have learned about telecommunication concepts. Now, why this mobile application testing is very important and why we call it is a very challenging one. Mobile application testing is a very challenging one. Why do we call that way? And what is a very important necessary thing we need to consider a mobile application testing, a very important one in an industry. When you take a PC based application, you take a Facebook application or any kind of application. When you want to test these kind of application which is PC based, that is your computer based, the things normally we will take into account will be operating system of your PC, whether it is Windows 7 or Vista or XP or Mac. So operating system you will take it into an account, probably about the browser, and next thing about the internet provider, Why an internet provider we are going to take? An internet provider, probably with some kind of internet provider, the speed will be more. Some internet provider, the speed may be low. If you remember, if you open a Gmail in a very low connectivity area, the Gmail have an option of loading only the HTML content where there is a very slow connection. So that way your internet provider, so in that way also you need to test these applications. How about the internet speed may vary from one carrier to another. So probably the internet carrier also you will take it into an account. And browser you have taken, and normally the GUI of the application. And next, whether you're going to use it on a remote or directly you're going to use it. So only these kind of things you will take it into an account when you're going to test any application on a PC based application or a web based application. These are all the things we will take it into an account. These all things I will call it as web ecosystem. All these things all put together I will tell it as web ecosystem. Now, this web ecosystem or all this web based application are these days are being enabled on a very small device called a mobile device. A mobile device, on a technical term, it is called as personal digital assistant. Whatever a wireless device you're going to use, that is what is called a personal digital assistant. A handheld device is called a PDA. So whenever you're going to consider an application for this kind of PDA devices, what are all the things you need to consider? Whenever you're going to create an application for this kind of handheld devices, what are all the set of questions will come to your mind? Whether we are going to need an application or a mobile website, it's an application or a mobile website. Or do you want people to access your mobile application on iPhone or on Android phones, probably your operating system? Do you want a mobile application to be downloaded for free or with any cost? How user will interact with the mobile application once it has been downloaded? How user will navigate through app screens? How do you have an idea about each app screen contain or look like? Probably the GUI things. So whenever a mobile application is being developed, these are all the set of questions will strike in a mind. It's an application or on a website, on what kind of mobile it should be used, on about how about the navigation keys, how about the GUI things. So these are all the things will come into our mind whenever we generate an application. When it comes to a testing part, what are all the things we are going to consider? So this is what is called a mobile ecosystem. When I take a mobile application, I have to consider something called NEMS. What is an NEMS? It's a network equipment machinery service. So these people, they provide equipments which is all necessary for your network. Probably your high-rise antennas, your base station, your substation, whatever things you all needed for your mobile communication. So those things are called NEMS. So how this also should be considered when you consider a mobile application. Very important, an operating system. When you take a PC based application, the operating system, probably a Mac and Windows. Under Windows you may have Windows Vista, Windows XP, and 2000, 2008 and so many things onto it, and 7, and now it's 8. So you may have only a restricted number of operating systems. When it comes to a mobile device, there are various operating systems. There is an operating system called iOS for Apple phones, Android, a Google product, a BlackBerry, Symbian for Nokia, and there are various number of operating systems. Okay, there are various number of operating systems. Next, when you come to an Android operating, when you take only an Android operating system or Android platform, there are various versions of Android. Initially, they started with 2.2, then 2.3, 3.0. 4.0, 4.2, 4.3. So daily basis or on a regular basis, the versions keeps on changing. So whenever we develop an application, whenever a manual tester is going to test an application, he should be thinking in the mind whether this application is going to be compatible with all kind of versions. When application, this is a small example, when an application is being delivered into a market, you cannot expect all the customers to use a new version of Android mobile. Probably you would have bought an Android mobile of 3.0. Now this application would have been delivered in the time of 4.1. This should be compatible with that one, or else it should be capable of giving some error message at least. It is not compatible with your OS. So that should be considered. Various mobile device. You take HTC, you take Samsung, you take Apple. So these are all different kind of mobile device holders where they have their own set of keys, their own set of navigation process, their own set of touch. So the complete mobile device itself is changing. So if you take a application, normally a Facebook application also, a Facebook application can be logged out from a mobile device by pressing a menu button. Only if you press a menu button, you can see a logout option. This menu button, if you use it on a Samsung is a full touch mobile. Probably the menu will be enabled only through a touch. When you take some HTC phones, that menu button is always available through a soft key. So a menu should be enabled for this Facebook application through a soft key. So the features of mobile also should be considered when you test a mobile application. You're going to consider the features of a mobile. You're going to consider the operating system. When you take an operating system, again, another headache is a mobile version. That is a multiple version of the operating system. The next thing, operator. All user will not be a T-Mobile user. All mobile will not be a AT&T user. Each and every person will be using their own kind of operators. That is in mobile carrier. So these people may provide internet speed at a lower rate or at a higher rate. So they may have their own configuration. So according to each and every operator, or irrespective of every operator, the application should serve its functionality. So that way you have to test an mobile application. Then another thing, an application is available very well and a user can download and install it on a mobile. When you take it as a download, another headache, where it can be downloaded. It can be downloaded only from a particular store. Only if you take only for iPhone, you can download only from Apple Store. Or if you take an Android, it can be downloaded only from Google Play. And also there are some open source like freeware and all. Through that also your application is available. So when you're going to test a mobile application, this factor also should be considered. An application, probably there is an application for progressive. When a user is wishing to download a progressive application for his Android device, he should be able to get this progressive application through a freeware, through a Google Play, or through some Samsung store, or through some LG store when it is an Android application. From wherever they download this application, the purpose through a progressive should be the same. So since because it is downloaded from a Google Play, the functionality is different. It should not be that kind. So from wherever they download, the functionality should be the same. So this is also should be considered. And multiple connectivity. You cannot always expect a user is using a data on mobile through a network. He can also use a Wi-Fi, or he can also use a GPS, or whatever. According to his wish, he will be switching over the network. So through multiple connectivity also it should work. And also there are various applications. Similarly, the Facebook again. If you take a Facebook, in Facebook you have an option of login, or there is something where you can enter your location details, right? You can enter where is your location. So whenever you post a status or whenever you share a photo on your Facebook through your mobile device, you can also inform about the location status also. How your location status will be enabled, it will be enabled only through a GPS. Your Facebook is opened through GPRS service, but the location of Facebook should be enabled, should be receiving signals from GPS. GPS, it's for locating your mobile device on a particular location. So there are multiple connectivity. GPRS and GPS should be acting parallelly. So that way it has to work. And multiple contents. So various contents, what are all you see it on a mobile device, on a PC, should be achieved on a mobile device also. How about a memory? You take a PC, it's a very big thing, it's a very big processor, very big memory. When it comes to a mobile, it is restricted. So how it's going to work with a memory? When you talk about memory, there is something called memory leak. What is a memory leak here? There is a scale of memory. Okay, when you load an application, when you start using an application, it will allocate some memory of a mobile device. When you drop or when you stop using that application, it has to.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website H2KInfosys.com. On our website H2KInfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.